Hello, my name is David Ehrenberg. I'm the Executive Director of Arizona Tenants Union, tenantsunion.net, tenantsunion.net. We are tenants' rights in Arizona. We're not the other guys. And today what I'm going to talk to you about is your right to terminate your lease. The Landlord-Tenant Act in this state isn't very strong. It doesn't give tenants very many remedies. But the main remedy it gives tenants for a variety of landlord non-compliances is the right to terminate your lease. You can terminate your lease if you're not getting repairs. You can terminate your lease if you're not getting essential services. You can terminate your lease for both substantive and also for technical grounds. You can terminate your lease if the landlord isn't properly registered with the county assessor. If the landlord, if the entity named on the lease doesn't have the capacity to enter into a contract, it's not the right landlord. Break lease is a very complicated process. It's the only process that we at Arizona Tenants Union actually charge an additional fee for. Our membership dues are $60 a year, which can be paid in monthly installments of $5. We do charge an additional fee for break lease. Part of this is what gives us funding. It keeps our doors open, but in large part we do it because there's so many different pieces to it. And what we do is we send an inspector out to look at your apartment. We analyze the lease for illegal provisions. Every standard Arizona lease contains many, many illegal provisions. Provisions that say the tenant has to do repairs. Provisions that say the landlord can enter the apartment whenever he wants. Provisions that say the landlord isn't responsible for damages even if they're due to his own negligence. Provisions that say that the landlord can evict you without giving you notice. I can't even tell you how many illegal things are in these leases. And the reason is the tenants look to the lease for their authority and what their rights are rather than the Landlord-Tenant Act. And so even though these provisions aren't enforceable, it's still in the landlord's interests to use them and to include them in the lease, and that's another way that we can get you out of a lease. The thing about breaking a lease, though, is that, and the way we help you break a lease is by invoking multiple strategies, overwhelming the landlord with demands so that he can't comply in the 10-day notice period that most of these demands give him. For example, he has the right or the ability to comply with the demand to register your unit with the county assessor by simply registering the unit with the county assessor within 10 days. How do you defeat that? How do you get around that? How do you break your lease by making a demand when the landlord can make an easy fix? And the answer is you bury that demand. You bury it inside a whole bunch of other demands, also which have the right, confer the right upon the tenant to terminate his lease. But that's just one example of why it is that you have to invoke this strategy of hitting the landlord with a lot of stuff at one time. Landlords have been dealing with us. They know us. They know me. They don't mess with our tenants. If a typical tenant breaks his lease, even if he invokes the process correctly, the landlord's going to come after him. Our clients, or our members I should say, generally do not have the landlords come after them, aside from perhaps a nasty letter. The right to break your lease is we have mixed feelings about helping tenants break leases because, of course, what it does is it lets the landlord off the hook. We like to see tenants stay and fight because it is only you, it is not us, it is only you ultimately that can force the landlord to comply with the law. But there are many situations in which you do need to get out of your lease, and we can help you do that. We're Arizona Tenants Union, tenantsunion.net. If you need to get out of your lease, give us a call.
You've reached the offices of Arizona Tenants Union. We know how frustrating it is to reach an answering machine instead of a real person, It's just that we're unbelievably busy. There's no shortage of bad landlords in Arizona. Please leave a message and we will get back to you.